Trade rumors are escalating for the Phoenix Suns as they gear up for the trade deadline, and a potential roadblock could be in the way once again, as the Phoenix Suns could be shown pivoting their possible trade destinations as they look to possibly be inquiring about Zach LaVine. We'll be diving into all of this, getting into how could he help out Mike Budenholzer's offense, or is this just a smokescreen type of move to ultimately hinder the big move that the Suns are looking to make for Jimmy Butler? We'll be diving into all of this and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support for the channel, which has been super, super appreciative. Me and Curtis are very, very thankful for all the love you guys have been recently sharing. We had an awesome time yesterday in our weekly live stream. You guys absolutely popped out, asked some great questions, and we'll have more of those coming for you guys every Thursday with videos stacking up every day as well. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this Suns team and you want to stay tapped into all the news, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date and with the 17% of people who are subscribed. Without further ado, let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I said, could the Suns possibly be changing directions in a possible move? Well, that's what seems to be coming out of news today, as we see the Suns are possibly interested in another all-star player, but not one being Jimmy Butler. And as we all know, there's kind of a roadblock for the Phoenix Suns here to try to get a Jimmy Butler trade. We've gone it over multiple times, with obviously Bradley Beal having that no trade clause and obviously getting and choosing where he decides to want to go. But ultimately, could he be going to Chicago, and could he waive his no trade clause to Chicago? Well, according to Jake L. Fisher, who works with Mark Stein on his Substack, apparently the Phoenix Suns are a team to watch for Zach LaVine. As sources say, Phoenix is one example who could emerge with interest in exploring a swap of Bradley Beal for Zach LaVine, sources said, depending on how the rest of the trade landscape develops in the coming weeks. And that's basically just if Jimmy Butler isn't tradable. If the Suns aren't able to acquire Jimmy Butler, if they are unable to get a move done, they're still going to look to try to move Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is not going to stay on this Phoenix Suns team. He was moved to the bench. He was relegated in a role. He is not fitting in with this Suns team, and clearly it is a needed thing to be happened for him to be traded. He's not happy with the organization because he's coming off the bench and stuff like that. But honestly, for the Suns to kind of get out of this mess, they have to move a contract in Bradley Beal. Being in the second apron, having those restrictions, and with how trades are go, there's realistically only two names that are available on the market. If the Suns could trade Bradley Beal for 3 or 4 role players, they would go out and do that, but they physically cannot. They can only trade it for another bad contract, and those two bad contracts on the market are Zach LaVine's money and Jimmy Butler's money. And obviously, the Suns would rather pursue Jimmy Butler as he provides more defense, provides a better role at that small forward position, as he's a little bit of a better fit, could be a better mentor for Ryan Dunn, could be a little bit more of a vocal leader. But Zach LaVine could also bring some of that stuff for the Phoenix Suns as well. Yes, he would still need the ball in his hands. Yes, he would still be a person who would require to be a scoring first player, similar to Bradley Beal, but he could kind of fit into that small forward position maybe a little bit better, could seemingly play alongside a player in Ryan Dunn, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant in that starting lineup, and could give the Suns a little bit more of an outlook. But ultimately, with hearing all of this, a lot of Suns fans are perplexed by this. They are confused. They're wondering, why is this even being mentioned? But ultimately, why I think it's being mentioned, like I said, is because it is a big contract on the books. We all know Bradley Beal makes around $50 million, or the Suns are wanting to move off of that contract. Looking around other teams around the league, there's not many other contracts that are $150 million, 2 able to get by the Suns, 3 are willing to be traded by other teams, and 4 even want to leave their similar situations. Therefore, that's why it's so really nitpicky with this Suns kind of trade stuff. And if we want to dive into some more stuff as well, we also saw from Kevin O'Connor that maybe the Bucks could be interested in possibly a Zach LaVine deal. Maybe that could help pursue the deal for Jimmy Butler instead of Bradley Beal going to the Bucks. Maybe obviously Zach LaVine going to the Bucks, Bradley Beal going to the Bulls. But then does Bradley Beal even want to go to the Bulls? We see from my boy John Voita here that, courtesy of Basketball Reference, Zach LaVine has played for the has played most of his season at the small forward position for the Bulls this season, averaging around a 114 defensive rating. But Ryan Dunn, who's only started in 23 games, has a 114 defensive rating already a better defensive rating than the player that the Suns would be going to acquire in Zach LaVine. And I ultimately do believe that, like my boy Brandon here, he's not buying that Zach LaVine stuff, and ultimately I'm not either. I truly do believe that this Phoenix Suns team is all in for Jimmy Butler. I think that this Zach LaVine stuff is kind of wild. I do believe that Zach LaVine would be a better addition than Bradley Beal, because I do think he could play that small forward position, but once again just kind of falls into the same hole as Bradley Beal. As he needs the ball in his hands, he needs to have the ball in his hands to score, to be a plus on the court. He's not, a fantastic defender. He's not a fantastic rebounder. He's not a fantastic assister. Zach LaVine's goal is to score the basket. So once again, adding one of those other players to this team is not necessarily what this Phoenix squad wants. Now, obviously, it'd be a little bit of an upgrade in Bradley Beal, as he provides a little bit better stats than Bradley Beal, in my opinions, and I think would be a better piece. But once again, Zach LaVine's contract is ascending, and that would be not great for Phoenix Suns fans as well, who want to escape the second apron, want to get out of these luxury tax issues. Zach LaVine's contract would be continuing to go up, which would just become more and more taxing for the Phoenix Suns front office, be more restrictive for them to make more moves on the smaller ends of the roster there, and that honestly just is not great. Honestly, in my opinion, like I said, I don't think a Zach LaVine fit is great. I don't even know if Bradley Beal would even accept a contract to the Chicago Bulls. I'd be kind of perplexed on why he would even want to go to Chicago, unless Chicago's promising him that they're going to compete or they're going to be a champion. But I don't see Chicago doing that in these last couple seasons if they've been battered with injuries, and they still have some roster moves to make. So if you look at a roster with Bradley Beal, Vucevic, and other pieces, is that really a contender in the Eastern Conference? No, I don't think so. And I don't think Bradley Beal would even entertain a possibility of going to the Chicago Bulls as well. But like I said, with the Phoenix Suns trying to move off Bradley Beal's contract, there's going to be a lot of names, a lot of stuff being thrown around with him. But I think the Phoenix Suns have their eyes just set on one guy, Jimmy Butler. And even though there's a framework possibly getting done of a 5, 6, 7, how many ever team deal, I do believe the Phoenix Suns are going to be aggressive to get that deal first pursued, and then worry about something other later in. Maybe Zach LaVine is involved in this deal with the Phoenix Suns and not even going to Phoenix, but he's involved in this Jimmy Butler deal, like Kevin O'Connor was saying earlier, possibly going to a team in, Milwaukee instead of a player in Bradley Beal. Maybe that's a fit they would rather have. Reports have come out with the Bucks that they're looking to move off players in Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, coming out today from Brian Windhorst. So I do expect the trade market and this front to really anticipate and start to pick some things up over the next couple hours, next couple of days. And I would expect something to happen with this Phoenix Suns team, regardless if it is a Jimmy Butler thing or if it is some other type of move regarding some of these other people on the roster by this weekend, because I do believe the Suns still have some pivotal moves that they need to make before the deadline. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Would you guys entertain a Zach LaVine deal? I honestly am not entertaining it. I'm Jimmy Butler. Only player I would want this team to go out and acquire is Jimmy Butler for this kind of push. If not, then I'm saying stick with the squad. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section, like I said, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.